Dr. Anna Baker returns this week to talk about acupuncture facelifts. This is something I've wanted to hear you talk about since I met you, okay? But first, let's start with your background. Give our viewers a little overview of who you are.
Okay, well, I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine, and I've been here in Sarasota since 1998. I started with a full family practice, and then 2 years into it, I took a special course in acupuncture facelift, and now that's become my whole practice.
Okay. So acupuncture facelift, you were the first one that I've ever heard mention that, and it's an alternative to getting a facelift, your classic facelift. So can you tell our viewers about what you do and how it works, please?
Well, what it is it's a progressive series of acupuncture treatments. I have a very special technique that I use. The other type of acupuncture facelift, which most people, if they've heard of it, are familiar with, is just putting a whole bunch of needles in the face, like up to 50 needles.
Oh my gosh.
And all that does is it micro-injures the muscle, and when collagen comes to heal that injury, it puffs you out a little bit. So for about a month, you're a little fuller, and then it just goes back in when you heal. Okay. I have a totally different treatment. It's part of it I learned from a Chinese doctor in Orlando, and it's 5 needles in the scalp, 1 over each eye, 1 over each ear, and 1 on top of the head, and those are muscle groups that work on the face down to the jawline. And then I found 7 more places myself on the neck that'll do the same thing of tightening the neck, is 2 here and 3
because you don't want to just do the face, right? Obviously you want to do the whole
And that's
look.
exactly it. That's what we found. Once I started using the 5 needle technique on my patients, everybody said, well, but what about my neck? So it was obvious.
Okay.
So what I found is that it's a progressive series of treatments, and that you need 10 treatments to get to what I call the first level of really big difference in your face.
And they last about 30 minutes?
Yes, 30 minutes. And it is painless and safe, and actually your body is being rejuvenated while I do that.
Okay.
It has some other interesting things in that I photo document every single treatment, and I have found that after a person gets to where they want to be, then they don't stop aging, but it is very slow. Aging is very slow, and so they only need 1 or 2 treatments every 18 months to maintain it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know of any other maintenance on any other procedure that's like that.
So how many treatments do they have to have? Do they have to have another 10 treatments, or do they have to just have a single treatment?
Just a single treatment.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
which is
great.
Pretty amazing, because I always say you can't go to the gym once every 18 months and keep muscle tone. We all wish, we all wish. Yeah. So, and the other thing that's very unique is, unlike other acupuncture, you can have up to 3 of these treatments a day as long as they're booked 2 hours apart, and you can actually have them, you know, sequentially on days, so that you could do all 10 in 3.5 days. Okay,
so if somebody comes from out of town,
yes,
they can come to you, and I know you've said you've had people from Europe fly in and have your treatments done.
Yes, yeah, and but then it also, you can get the same results if you space it out farther, any way that you want. The longest that I ever had was one lady who could only come once every 2 months.
Okay,
and she had
how about bruising?
There's no bruising. No, the needles that I use are the width of a hair, and they're flexible. I show everybody when they come, they only go in a 1/16 of an inch.
So there's no recovery time. You can go back to work or your normal life.
Yep.
That's great. Yep. Okay, what else?
Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the stages of aging. This is a picture of Demi Moore, and she really illustrates what happens when we age, in that when we start out, we have a full round face when we're young, and the muscle is very toned and firm, and then as we lose that tone gradually over the years, our face becomes long and flat and wide, and then eventually very, very, ripply and wrinkled. So what I like to do now is show some pictures of results that I have with the acupuncture facelift. And first, what I'd like to show is how I set those up. I make the iris of the eye the same size in all the before and after pictures, because as you saw in the Demi Moore picture before this, your face is actually physically smaller, more compact and narrow, and more full. So to be able to show the results, which is what happens with this acupuncture facelift, your face gets that same way. I make the irises of the eyes the same size in the pictures, and I line up the forehead at the top of the picture, and then I also make a reference triangle on the first picture from the width of the cheeks and where the tip of the chin is.
And you go down the forehead, the brow line, the eyelids, the cheeks, the lips, and the jawline.
Right, yeah, because absolutely every single thing changes. How much wider open and deep set her eyes are. You can see how much fuller and higher her cheeks are, and you can see that the triangle is now peeking out on either side of the picture. That's how much narrower her face is. You can also, if you look at her chin, you can see that her chin has moved up from where it was before. Interestingly enough, you can see that her nose is smaller. People don't realize it, but their nose does get longer and wider as they age.
Right.
Yeah. You can see that her lips look more shapely. They're more narrow and with a defined upper lip. And you can really see the results there comparing it side by side. Yeah, it's like her face was a deflated balloon in it and it blew back up. And so very quickly I'd like to show, this is pictures of people from my website, so people can check that out. But here's a range of ladies of all different ages and their pictures, and there's a lot more detail on the website showing individual people.
Speaking of ages, what age range have you done and how many have you done?
Oh yes, I've been doing this for over 17 years, over 700 people, and the ages have been 32 to 96.
Okay.
So it's never too late.
Never too late. I love it. I love it. Men can also have this stuff.
Yes, yes they can.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, where can our viewers go to find you?
To facesbydranna.com, and my contact number is 924-2723.
Great. Nice seeing you again, and sign me up.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. To find previous episodes, go to snntv.com under programming. See you next Saturday and Sunday at noon.